Well, guys, the college football season rolling right along. Alabama fans as happy as can be after the big win in Athens, ending Georgia's near 6-year streak of winning at home. Welcome in. I'm Simone Eli alongside Nick Kelly. Right now, Tide fans pumped up about what they're seeing from this offense, at least as far as the first half and getting the dub against Georgia, Nick.
Yeah, big win, a lot to build off, a real prove it game. And not only that, showed
Yeah.
resiliency that we hadn't really seen from Alabama on the road very often. I mean, they had that big road win against LSU in 2024, but they were in control that whole time. There was no being punched back. It was just Alabama punching again and again. Alabama
Yeah.
got punched back against Georgia. Things started really well, but they had to respond to Georgia's punch. But Alabama kept swinging, and it worked out in the end. And just a real gritty second half from Ty Simpson and company.
Yeah, speaking of Ty Simpson, received several weekly awards, national awards, and honors for what he was able to do there on the road. What impressed you the most about Ty? And was there kind of a prove it opportunity for him? At least is how I viewed it, given the fact that he had been so good for 2 games, but you weren't really sure the caliber opponent that they were up against there in Wisconsin in the previous games.
Yeah, he looked like a different player than his previous road trip against Florida State. He looked more comfortable. Again, he wasn't bad against Florida State. I think people really put a lot of that loss on him, and that was
Yeah.
not the case, or it shouldn't have been the case. But he didn't look too settled or too comfortable in that loss to Florida State. He
Hmm.
said going into the Georgia game that he felt more comfortable, and it showed. I mean, he was surgical. He was a guy who had poise. He didn't always work every single drive, but those first 2 drives, 14 plays, touchdowns each time, was thoroughly impressive. And he just looked in command. He looked comfortable. He didn't look like he was in a road environment that had not been good for road opponents for 33 games
Yeah.
straight. I mean, you go back to 2019 was the last time Georgia lost at home. So,
Hmm.
yeah, he looked super comfortable. He didn't look rattled. And even when things didn't go their way, he still just kept that poise. And I think that
Yeah.
made a big difference in Alabama's success.
Yeah, looking ahead, of course, as Alabama comes back home to Bryant Denny Stadium, all eyes are going to be on this Alabama Vanderbilt game. As we know, a year ago, Vanderbilt beat Alabama in a stunning game that, of course, just took the entire college football landscape by storm, Nick. I think that Bama fans are still recovering. But then we found out that, hey, this is a different Vanderbilt program with Diego Pavia there at quarterback. When you look at this matchup coming into this game, College Game Day is going to be there. Nick Saban's going to be back in Tuscaloosa. I mean, it has everything you could possibly think of when it comes to what it's going to look like there on Saturday.
Yeah, it's crazy to think we live in a world. Imagine telling someone even 2 years ago that Vanderbilt, Alabama would be not only a ranked matchup, but also a college game day game. I mean, it's
Yeah,
crazy, but I think
it
it's
is.
great for the sport. I think it's fun. I mean, Vanderbilt is just a fun team. If you're just a casual fan who doesn't necessarily have a team, I mean, you just like the Vanderbilt story. Now, I
Yeah.
say that knowing that this is an Alabama show and people in this state do not feel the same way about Vanderbilt or Diego Pavia because Diego Pavia is undefeated against SEC teams in the state of Alabama. So
It's
it's pretty
insane.
ridiculous what he's done. He's instilled a swagger, I think, with Vanderbilt that they just haven't had. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the last time that Vanderbilt beat Alabama back to back, we're talking the 50s. So it's
Yeah.
been a long, long time. And I'm not saying that Vanderbilt's going to beat Alabama, but if it happens, that's how long it's been. So I mean, that's so one-sided. And Vanderbilt has not ever had much success against Alabama, period. So the fact that they're even looking at potentially a second straight win is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, and Vanderbilt's undefeated on the season at this point. Diego Pavia is a guy who has a lot of confidence. He exudes confidence not only on the field, but also when it comes to press conferences, when the way he talks, like the swagger that you just mentioned. This week had some choice words for this game, Nick. What did we hear from Diego Pavia when it comes to them gearing up for this Alabama game? And you don't ever want to have like the locker room talk, but you can't act like this doesn't have a little bit of locker room talk with it.
No, he in an interview with Chris Lowe at On Three said, "We just got to play within the white lines. If we do that, if we play our game, it won't be close."
That's
Those
insane.
are yeah, I know those are some tough words. Now, granted, Thomas Castellanos might have been number one in the power rankings of comments that were pretty bold, some trash talk, if you will. But Diego saying that, I mean that's pretty wild for any quarterback, much less the Vanderbilt quarterback. But we
No
almost have to
doubt.
set aside just the Vanderbilt label. I think that
I
just
agree.
because for so long we hear Vanderbilt and we think one thing, it's like this is a good SEC team that
Yeah.
happens to be Vanderbilt. So you respect the confidence, but see if it works out for them.
As far as Alabama and what this can do for momentum, continuing momentum in SEC play, you open things up with a big win over Georgia on the road. You don't want to have that hangover effect, of course, where, hey, and I don't think that these guys are looking at Vanderbilt as a team that they can just easily get by. There's no question about that. How big of an opportunity, though, Nick, is this game being back at home and then just to continue this trajectory of we weren't really sure what Alabama was a month ago, and now is the tide turning literally and figuratively as to what this team can actually be as we get into the bulk of the SEC slate.
So I'm going to take my glasses off because I have a big statement to make. This is the biggest game of the year. The biggest game of the year, and I'll tell you why. If Alabama can win this game, it shows that 2025 is different. This is not 2024 anymore. What you saw in 2024 is a different team, different season, and the Kalen DeBoer way is not just going to be what you know from 2024. Alabama beating Georgia was massive. Don't get me wrong. And don't mishear me. I'm not saying this will be the toughest game. I just think this is the biggest game because Alabama can make a statement and say, we are different this year.
Yep.
This is a different season, a different team, a team that can handle success, that does not just win the one big game one week and then drop a game the following week. Now, of course, this isn't an unranked team. It's not a game that Alabama is massively favored in. I mean, Alabama is favored in it, but
sure,
it's not that same scenario. But at the same time, if Alabama can beat Georgia and Vanderbilt, two ranked teams back to back, it's massive for the season. I think it's a complete launching point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nick. There's no question about that. When it comes to maybe any concerns that you see coming out of that Georgia game, it's not like it was a perfect game, but of course, this is a really tough opponent in Georgia. What is maybe your biggest concern, or where you hope to see this program maybe take a next step, make some adjustments, so to speak, going into this Vanderbilt game?
Yeah, it's simple. It's run defense. That to me is the biggest storyline to follow, the biggest thing to follow, because it wasn't good enough at times against Georgia. I mean, the explosive plays definitely had a big effect on those numbers in that game, but I mean, and Georgia's got some dudes too at running back. I mean, there's some really impressive players there. I don't know why they didn't hand it to one of those players on that third down play or that fourth down play when they tried to convert. They should have given it to one of their bigger, better running backs. But
you would think so, yeah.
I digress. But anyway, I do think that Alabama's run defense, I mean, needs to be better. That's no secret. And then you're also facing one of the top rushing offenses in the country, the second overall in the SEC in Vanderbilt. So obviously it proved to be a problem in Nashville a season ago. Mm-hmm. And yeah, can Alabama slow that running attack that Vanderbilt has? And can they limit Diego Pavia on the ground? I think if Alabama could do that, to quote Diego Pavia, it's not going to be close. But if Alabama can't do that, it's going to be really close in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll certainly see. A 2:30 kickoff there at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's going to have all the hoopla, if you can imagine. Alabama and Vanderbilt, one of the biggest games in college football this weekend, no question about it. Nick, before we go, let's get some predictions. I think as of this recording, Alabama is a 10.5-point favorite in this game. What do you think it's going to look like out there on the scoreboard when it ends?
Yeah, I said that I think Alabama's going to win 35-24 is my prediction. I think you'll see some scoring in this game. I mean, these are two offenses that are very strong offenses. Yep. And the defenses are solid, but I don't know that it's going to turn into a 17-13 slug match kind of thing. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Alabama's going to win. The fact it's a home game, the fact that, you know, fool me once, shame on Vanderbilt, fool me twice, shame on Alabama kind of deal.
Feel that.
I'd be surprised if Alabama's not up for this game, not ready for this game. So give me Alabama at home.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not sure Alabama covers, but if we're going straight up, I think Alabama wins the game. There's no question. I like maybe 28-21, something of that nature. I do think it's going to be one of those where, hey, like it gets away from Vanderbilt late in the game, but I do think it's going to be very entertaining there, at least for the first half. So looking forward to it, Nick. I know you'll be there in T-Town, so I can't wait to see all your great coverage this weekend. Man, what an opportunity for Alabama as they look to continue this positive trajectory as the SEC slate rolls on. Nick, appreciate you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, Simone. Great to talk with you. And yeah, hey, it's Vanderbilt week. Big week in college football.
The doors have been tied. All right, guys, we'll see you next week for Head to Head.
Brought to you by Alabama Beef Farmers and Ranchers.